Lao Tzu wrote that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. You see, this idea of one step at a time was one of the things that helped me when things got hard. You see, this idea that right now there's one step that is in front of you, and that's the only step that you'll ever have to make. You don't have to think about all the steps that you've taken before, and whether or not they were good steps. All the steps that you will have to take in the future and worrying about those. But just being here in the state of reality right now and just focusing on that single step right in front of me. I mean, for example, when I didn't want to do something, I would just always tell myself, you see, one step or one dish at a time, and I'll explain what this means later, one dish at a time, and just do the simplest thing that is what was in front of me right now. Not worry about all the rest. I mean, for example, when writing scripts, I'm not thinking about, okay, but how will the first sentence correlate with the last sentence and this idea with that? I'll deal with that when I get there. First I just write down the title. That's okay, I wrote down that. The first sentence, I write down word by word, step by step. Just taking it moment by moment. What's in front of me right now. When I have to go run, and I don't want to go run. Okay, I just say, okay, just get out of bed. I mean, that's really what you have to do. There's nothing else that you have to do. You just got to get out of your bed. Okay, I do that. Just take on your shoes. It's the only thing that you got to do, brother. Take on your shoes. Take on my shoes. Okay, then just go out for a walk. You see, right now, you only got to walk or run this 1 meter, and that's it. Right now, that's the only thing that you need to do. You see, this idea of just one step at a time. Just focusing on what's in front of you right here, right now. It might sound stupid, or my brain might start telling you, oh, what is this guy talking about? I already tried this doesn't work. But it has worked great for me. And by the way, my name is Nago Daniel, and I make videos about things that I'm interested in, mainly philosophy, sharing the lessons that I learned, trying to help people, and I also make videos about climbing, great sport. So you can check it out if you want to, and thank you for watching. Now, I watched a video from Alan Watts. It's a great video that he explains it in a great way, this principle of one step at a time, by the art of washing dishes. So I'll play this video quickly. It's a great video, and I'll see you after that.
Because I'm perfectly willing to wash dishes too, because the art of washing dishes is that you only have to wash one at a time. If you're doing it day after day, you have in your mind's eye an enormous stack of filthy dishes which you have washed up in years past, and an enormous stack of filthy dishes which you will wash up in years future. But if you bring in your mind to the state of reality, which is, as I've pointed out to you, only now. This is where we are. There is only now. You only have to wash one dish. It's the only dish you'll ever have to wash, this one. You ignore all the rest, because in reality, there is no past and there is no future. There is just now. So you wash this one. And instead of thinking, have I got it really clean, as my mother taught me with an angry voice, that I had to get every little scrap off it, and she got angry at you. Instead, you turn the cleaning movement into a dance. Like this. And you dig that. And you swing that plate around, and you let the rinsing water go over it, and you put it off in the rack. Crazy. See? Take the next one. And you get this rhythm going. See? And you're not under compulsion all the time.
As you saw there in that video, it's about realizing that there is only now and focusing on what's in front of you right now. This one dish, the only dish that you ever have to wash. And to quote Alan Watts again, is, you see, this is like one of the secrets to life. To be completely engaged in what you are doing, in the here and now. And instead of calling it work, realize it is play. See, it's also about turning whatever you're doing into a play, into a dance. And I think that this can be done to any activity. Any activity can be seen as a play. Any activity can be turned into a dance. For example, it might be whatever. Cleaning up the room, you see. Going with the vacuum cleaner and just making a dance out of it, like that, looking at it as play. And then it will be fun. You'll actually enjoy it and even have more energy after you've cleaned up. Or take, for example, the bus driver. You see, being a bus driver, I mean, it must be pretty frustrating, dealing with all the laws and all the traffic and the idiots in the traffic and avoiding other cars and moving that big vehicle around and, people coming there and, asking for change for the tickets and dealing with all the crackheads that get on the bus and all of that. You see, if the bus driver, if he thinks of this as work, he will hate it. It will be hell. But you see, let's suppose that he has another idea in his mind. Let's suppose that he has the idea that moving this great, enormous vehicle around in this complicated traffic is a very subtle game. And he has the same feeling about this as the feeling that you have when you're playing some kind of, when you're playing the piano or you're dancing. And then you see, with this in mind, he goes and he makes a dance out of this whole thing. You see, he goes with some speed, that's still in the limit, and he swings that bus and he goes around like this and going through that complicated traffic like, it's like it's some kind of beautiful play, and it's going through all of that and transporting people and putting them down and all of that jazz and doing that, avoiding this and avoiding that and going through all of that stuff. And he just considers that as play, as a big dance. And you see, after that work shift, he won't be tired. He'll be filled with even more energy because he enjoyed it, because he looked at it as a dance, as a play. But of course, for this, the bus driver doesn't have to take it seriously, doesn't have to take his job seriously. He doesn't have to take seriously arriving on time. See, oh God, what will happen if I don't arrive on time? What will happen? Oh, he has to have this attitude of, not taking that seriously, realizing that at the end of the game, all of this life is just like a game. I mean, I talked about it, like, let's say, 20 minutes ago in another video that I recorded before this one. You can check it out. It's called something like Life is Not a Problem to Be Solved. You can check it out. So you see, it's about turning it into a play. Now you can think about how could you turn whatever activity that you're doing right now or you're doing as a job or whatever, how could you turn it into a game, into a play, into a dance? How could you change your mind about it so that you can consider it as play and you realize that it is a play and it doesn't have to be taken seriously for 1 second. But you can be it's a good idea to be sincere about it. To put your whole being into it, do it with wholeheartedly. So then you see, it's about being completely absorbed in whatever you're doing right now and focus on the step that's in front of you right now. You see, one dish at a time. You only have to wash one dish. And you see, this idea is also applicable to life in general. You see, whenever you're lacking clarity or feeling unsure about the future, your situation, what to do next, what should I do, what kind of decision should I make, do whatever is in front of you right now. Just make a decision that feels and you think that it's the best and it feels the right thing to do, and just go with that. Take it one step at a time. Just take that step and the rest will take care of itself. Because you see, to ensure that you get where you want to get to, and to ensure that you take good steps even in the future, the only thing that you can do is take a good step right now, or better say, to just focus on this step in front of you right now, and not worry about whether or not, this was a good decision that you made, or a bad decision that you made, or a good step that you had, or a bad step. Because you see, you never know if you've made a good or bad step. You never know. I mean, how do you know if you made a good decision? Based on the result. Well, the result, for how long? For how long are we looking into the future? Because you see, maybe you make a decision and then a couple of days later it turns out to be awful. But then a year later, it turns out that the fact that you made that decision turned out to be a great thing and you wouldn't have changed it at all. 10 years later, it turns out again that it actually was an awful decision. So is it a good decision or a bad decision? Well, we can't tell. Because there are just too many variables that come into play. And also, you wouldn't want to tell. You wouldn't want to always make a good decision. You don't always want to control everything. You don't always want things to go your way. Because that everything would be just completely boring. Everything would be known. Everything would go your way. Nothing surprising would happen. It's like it would be like playing the same game over and over and over again. You see, when you're playing cards, and you already know like who's going to be second place and third place, you stop playing the game. It's completely boring at that point. Just in the same way when people are playing chess, and they see, okay, in 6 moves I'm going to lose, and there's nothing that I can do. The grandmasters just shake hands and stop playing. There's no point at that. It's not fun anymore when there's no when there's no surprise element in that thing. When you cannot be surprised, it's not worth it. And you see, you never know if you made the right decision, and you also don't know if the situation that you're in is good or bad. Because for the same principle, there are just too many variables. You never know if what happened to you will turn out to be good or turn out to be bad. I mean, I made a whole video about this. You see, there's a story of this Chinese farmer who lost his horse. You see, there was this Chinese farmer who lost his horse. You know, his horse just ran away. And then the neighbors came around and said to him, "Oh, I'm so sorry that the horse ran away. You see, it was a great value to the family. No, they did work with it and all of that. It was very valuable." So the neighbors came around, "Oh, that this is awful and all of that." And the farmer said, "Well, maybe it is. We'll see. Don't judge so quickly." But you see, the next day, the horse came back with 5 other wild horses. And then the neighbors came around and told the farmer what a great fortune this is. Such a great luck. And the farmer said, "Well, maybe, let's see. And then the next week, when the farmer's son was trying to tame one of these wild horses, he was riding it, he fell off his back and broke his leg. And then the neighbors came around and told the farmer, "Well, what bad luck, you see. This is so bad, how will we be able to work like this?" And the farmer said, "Well, maybe, we'll see. And you see, in the next year, the enrolling people came around, you see, because the emperor declared war on the neighboring nation. And there was a big war coming, and every man had to fight. But because of his broken leg, the farmer's son wasn't able to fight. They didn't pick him. So the neighbors came around and told the farmer, "Oh, such a great thing, he didn't go to that war, he didn't have to die." And the farmer said, "Well, maybe, we'll see about this." So you see, you never know if whatever is happening to you is good or bad. Because you see, you don't know if you're up if you've never been down. And you don't know what you mean by down if you've never been up. They exist with one another. They go together. So you see, you don't have to worry about your whole future trying to figure out, you see, 10 years ahead. But take the step in front of you right now. To quote Martin Luther King, you don't have to see the whole staircase to just take the first step. But you see, the thing is that if you are worried about your future, if you are worried, then be worried. Be willing to be worried. Don't resist it. Don't resist it because you heard me tell you, "Oh, you don't have to be worried about that." No, nothing to worry about. Because you see, if you do resist it, if you do fight back against it, what will happen is that you will naturally begin to worry about something. But the problem starts when you start worrying about worrying, because you're worrying. And then you start worrying about the fact that you're worrying about worrying, and so on. It creates this vicious cycle. So you see, just be willing to be worried. Accept the fact that you're just worried. Completely accept it. And be willing to be worried. And often, very often, the very willingness to be worried often makes it completely unnecessary to do so. Very interesting thing. Just completely be, because you see, sometimes the completely natural response is to be worried. Just as natural as it is natural that fire is warm. So you see, one step at a time. A great journey starts with one step. I mean, for example, if you want to climb a mountain, and you're thinking about all the steps that's in front of you, looking up at the mountain, and it's so huge, and you're thinking about all the steps that you got to make, how huge that mountain is, then it will take forever, and it will be a bore getting up that mountain, and it will be, you see, burdensome, and it will be just bad getting up that mountain, and if you have that in mind, all those steps in front of you. But if you get into the state of reality of right now, and you just only focus on that step in front of you, one step at a time, and you just bounce along the trail and you're there wandering, looking at all sorts of things, looking at the ground, stepping and looking around, you will be up in no time. You will not even notice it when you're up on the mountain. Then remember this idea of one step at a time, one dish at a time. So thank you for watching. If you're interested, I'll leave some links to what's in the description. And if you're interested, I make free one-on-one calls. You can send me an email. We'll arrange a video call and we'll have a chat. So if you're interested in that, send an email. And thank you for being here. Thank you for watching this video. If you can leave a comment if you have any thoughts, if you have any questions. If you think that what I said is stupid, please leave it in the comments. So thank you for watching this video. Thank you for being here. Have a great day and goodbye.